Good morning, good morning to you. Good morning. So, you are onto the YouTube segment of The Optimal You. And today we should have had our guest, but I won't be having my guest today. I think there is an issue with the time clarity. So, we won't be having our guest today. So, you're going to just have me. And I'm going to see how best I can have a discussion with you about the whole matter of understanding holiday stress and expectations. Um, so we know that at Christmas time, a lot of stuff go on. People have a lot of concerns. People have a lot of stresses when it gets to that time of the year. And so I want you to talk to me because I'm going to need you to talk to me today. I'm going to need you to jump onto the YouTube and I'm going to need you to correspond with me because I'm now going to have to work some, you know, in order for us to have our segment. So a question is asked, why do people often experience stress or anxiety during the Christmas season? Why do you think that's the situation? Why do you think that people experience anxiety and stress during the Christmas season? What are some of the things that comes to your mind when you think about the Christmas season? Why do you think you get anxious if you get anxious? Why do you think you, you know, why do you have certain expectations during the Christmas season? I want you to talk to me as I give you my personal take, and then you can chime in and tell me what you think. You can do so via WhatsApp at 825-343-4486, or you can come right here on the YouTube channel and have a chat with me. No, people often have an increase stress and anxiety during Christmas season. And I think sometimes it is the expectation that comes like from other people. Sometimes people, they expect you to decorate, or they expect that you're going to be buying gifts, or they're going to be expecting that you're going to be cooking a lot of food and all these things. So people have all these things going on. They're expecting that you're going to spend time with family, and you too take those stresses on. So even if sometimes you're planning that this year I'm just going to kick back and relax and I'm not going to do anything, when you think about your cousin and your auntie and your friend and you this and you're thinking, oh, I can't because they're gonna have dinner and I have to go and I'm gonna this. And then even in Christendom, even in the church world, there's also that unspoken pressure that some people sometimes feel. Because after you go to church, because most people go to church, well, as a Christian, you're expected to go to church on Christmas morning. And you go to church on Christmas morning, not because you have an expectation, but because you're expected to, but because you want to go into the house to give God honor and praise, right? And to worship the King and to celebrate the reason for the season. But you also feel that pressure probably to do a gift exchange. You might feel a pressure to bake a cake and go and share it up. You might feel different pressures from friends and loved ones, right? And so sometimes we get into that space feeling a little anxious. And then sometimes too, we're in a new place, new environment, you don't know what to expect. Or maybe it is your second year and you don't have your family around, you don't have your friends, the thing, everything is new. Sometimes those things can bring on anxiety and a little bit of a stress in the Christmas season, in that period of time. But Another thought, another question to look at is how can unrealistic expectations around family gathering, gifts, or holiday event impact your mental health? And that is a serious one. How can these things impact your mental health? Again, the expectations. Because you're thinking about, again, if you don't feel like going, not because of any negative reason, but probably you're exhausted. And you're thinking, after I come from church, I just want to relax and sleep. I would just really like to just sleep. I really don't want to be in a space with all the talking, and we're going to have to wash up the dishes, and we're going to have to do the dishes, and we're going to have to do all these things. And you feel like you just want to chill because you're tired. And then your mom calls, and then somebody else calls. And so you're not coming? Aren't you coming to it? And aren't you? And so you feel so guilty, and you feel so there's a responsibility rested on you that you need to be there because probably nobody understands that you are exhausted and this is the only time you really have to get some rest. you know Also, the matter of gift exchange, sometimes to family members, friends, workplace, whatever the case is. You're expected to give a gift. Sometimes you're in a financial state and you're not able to give a gift, but there's an expectation for you to give a gift, right? And so that too puts on that stress mentally, that you have to do this, you have to do this, and then also the different events that go on, and you sometimes you just want to just rest. Just rest a little bit. You don't want to be involved in all the things because right throughout the year, probably you are very busy and now you feel it's a time to just relax. But again, the expectations of others oftentimes weigh us down and it affects us mentally because then we begin to struggle with how do we say no? How do we say we can't? How do we say not today? How do we say I don't have the finance for that? How do we say I don't feel like coming this year? How do we say that? And it puts you in a spot of discomfort because you're trying to figure out how to quote unquote break the tradition, because you're going to be hammered too for having broken the tradition. If you don't come, you're going to be breaking tradition. This is the way we've always done it, and this is whatever, and this is whatever. I don't know if anybody's listening who are watching who has had this experience, and you feel like, yeah, this is so true, and probably you're even faced with it right now. This pressure. Christmas is coming and you're already feeling the anxiety. You're already feeling the stress. You're already feeling all these pressure coming, even though it has not been said, but you're already feeling them. I'd love to hear from you. On our WhatsApp, it's 825-343-4486, or you can join me on YouTube and let's talk about it. How these things affect your mental health, because it does. Because you're already trying to just, some persons are feeling uncomfortable in spaces already. Maybe you've had some losses in Christmas. Somebody died, or you had to make some major transition. Something happened during that time. And every time it gets close to that period, there's this level of discomfort, right? And sometimes people say, oh, but you should have gotten over that by this. Oh, you should. These expectations. These are some of the things that affect persons, that impact a person's mental health during the Christmas season. Now, what are some common signs of holiday-related stress or burnout that people should be aware of? That is something to really think about. What are some things that persons can honestly look at to say, "Mm, this thing?" For example, in Jamaica, It's during the Christmas period or just before you start the cleaning. I don't know if anybody can relate to that. You start the cleaning, you pull down the whole place, you take down the curtains, you get the windows washed, and you do all sort of things. You go all out, you clean, you go shopping, you go to the market, you start to make the preparation for the fruit cake. So you're putting the fruits to soak, you're figuring out what you're gonna do, what kind of meat, you start the planning and everything. Everything is starting to work. You start to make your budget. If I hope you make budget, and you start to make a budget as to what people feel these kind of stresses. Yesterday we were talking about Christmas tree decorations and well, Christmas decorations. We were talking about that yesterday, and the whole matter of how do you handle that and what do you do and stuff. There are persons who become stressed over that as well. What to do, what to do, what to do, what to do, where to put what, you know? Okay, somebody just chimed on here on the YouTube chat, and she says, "My mother died 5 days before Christmas. So each time Christmas comes around, I have a little feeling." There, that's what we're talking about. And somebody will say, "But how long ago your mother died? You should have gotten over that." But it doesn't mean that you're sitting and moping, but it means that you have some level of discomfort. And it adds to your mental state. So it may not mean that you're going to sit in a corner and away from everybody and be sad, but it just means that it adds to a little of the stress, right? If you are a mom, a mother that runs the house or whatever, even a father, you know, the whole planning. If you have small children, they have expectations based on what the world is putting out there. They have expectations. That is also added stress because the children coming because they want this and they want that and they want another. And are we doing this and are we doing that and all these things? All these things. So I think in the Christmas period we really have to be considerate of each other. We have to be understanding of people's situations and where they are at a particular time, because especially with those persons who are abroad, away from home, whether it is abroad from the states or whichever country, you're not in your hometown, you're not where you live, you're originally. And so persons have to express understanding if you don't want to be a part of certain things, because it is worst to be involved or out there and being uncomfortable than to be alone in your space and probably can call your family members and talk to them and see what's happening and laugh about something and communicate with them, rather than sometimes being in the space with somebody else, probably with a new tradition that you don't even, some things you have to grow into, right? But these are some of the common stresses that people feel when it comes to the Christmas period. And the person in the chat says not that they haven't gotten over it, they've gotten over the death, but at Christmas time, she would remember some of the things her mother would have done when she was alive, right? So my encouragement to us as we continue to look at some of the questions, and I'm improvising today because my guest is not on, but we have to be considerate and understanding of each other in this Christmas season as we approach Christmas, and when we get into that time, we have to, by the grace of God, and ask the Lord for the grace to be more understanding of each other. And if somebody says they are not interested in doing something, not because they're being negative, but financially they don't have the funds, or they're tired and they just want to rest, you know, then there's another thing that says, how can people manage the pressure to create a perfect Christmas and find peace in the holiday season? And perfect Christmas is based on people's estimation. What somebody else thinks is the perfect Christmas. What is the perfect Christmas? Is there a perfect Christmas? I would love if somebody could tell me that. I don't think there's a perfect Christmas. I don't think so. Christmas is whatever you make it. The bottom line is that you're worshiping the Lord and you're giving thanks for his birth. And I think that is where sometimes the problem is, because persons put up this idea. Oh, perfect Christmas is when you go visit family members, when you buy gifts or exchange gifts. Perfect Christmas is when you have a Christmas tree and decorations up. Perfect Christmas is when you go shopping. Perfect Christmas is when that's not perfect Christmas. No, Christmas is what you make it. It's about Jesus Christ. And for the additional things that we do is by choice. And I think that is where the pressure comes from so much time. Because so many times, because persons are being told that what you do is not the perfect Christmas. So what if I stay home and I decide that I want to just eat some franks? I don't want to go into the crowd. I just want to stay home and eat some frankfurters. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Some people, they have to have Christmas dinner, Christmas breakfast, and then after Christmas breakfast, then everybody's gonna come together to cook dinner. It might be a tradition, but not necessarily a perfect Christmas. It's a time to celebrate the birth of Christ, and if you feel like it, you go to celebrate with family and friends. If you feel like it. And I'm emphasizing that. If you feel like it, again, as I said before, sometimes you're in a new space and you are not yet adjusted to the environment. And so it can be a little bit challenging. And sometimes too, you are in a space where you really don't want the loudness. You just want it to be quiet. We have to be understanding before we jump on them and get rough on somebody and accuse them and do all the things. Let us understand from them why it is that they've chosen to just have a relaxed time. Mhm. You also have to set boundaries with families and friends during this time. Yes, you have to set boundaries. Yes, man, you have to say, listen, I will not be doing this. And you have to understand, you have to let them understand and don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad about it. Some persons, they automatically let themselves into your home. They feel that this is what it is. This year, I'm not cooking Christmas dinner. I'm not going to be having the crowd at my house this year. Somebody else can do it. But we always have it at your house. Yes, but this year we're not having it at my house because I'm tired. My family's tired. And we just want to have a quiet time this year. What's wrong with that? Somebody's going to say something is wrong with it. And somebody's going to make you feel bad for wanting to just have your immediate family and not the entire Scott family in your house. And again, I'm saying that's okay. It's okay to make that decision. But listen, somebody's going to make you feel bad about it if you make that choice. But I want to encourage you. It's important to take care of your mental health because after Christmas, you're going to need it. So, and again, those of us who sometimes are insisting and persistent and we don't take no for an answer, you're going to have to learn to do that this Christmas because somebody's going to tell you no. And even if the children, they want a certain kind of gift and you don't have that finance, because listen, things are hard right now and you don't have the finance to give that kind of a gift, then you are going to have to be firm and say, we don't have the finances for this kind of gift. And the children will have to understand. They will have to understand. So this Christmas, think about the stressors and see how best you can make the adjustment, preparing yourself for those who will come against what you're saying. But you have to set boundaries for the benefit of your mental health. Oh, we have to go to this place because we always go. I know we always go, but I can't go this year. Next year, God's willing. Oh, but we always buy these. We can't buy this year. God's willing next year. Oh, but we're going to look bad. Everybody's going to look at us differently. Well, that's okay. So it's just our family alone not going to be a part of that? Yeah. Hmm. Sometimes, you have to set boundaries. And sometimes even parents sometimes insist that you do things that you're not interested in doing. And the truth is, sometimes parents don't understand. As a parent myself, sometimes it's hard to take the no. But you have to also understand that your adults and even the small children have a say. Because sometimes we don't give the small children a word in. They have an opinion. They have a say. If what they're saying is not so correct, you can help them to understand what you're saying. The person on the chat said sometimes I just want to be you just want to be alone with your family. And nothing is wrong with that. You don't want the extended family this time. And you're not putting up any Christmas tree this time. And you're not doing that, or you're not doing that, or you're not doing that. But we have to all be understanding of each other for this Christmas. Yes, man. We have to take care of our mental health. So set boundaries. Say some no's. Say some next times. Say some please understand. Thank you for understanding. You're going to have to use some of those terms. And in terms of feelings of loneliness and isolation, now when I say you choose to be alone, not choosing to be alone in the sense that you just don't feel the vibe and you feel sad, and no. In the case of sometimes you're tired and sometimes you just want to relax by yourself. You're not sad, you just want to relax. In terms of loneliness, I would suggest that persons find a community, like find people who are understanding and patient and are willing to hang with you. If it's a case that you can't find, listen, we're in a technological age right now where you jump on chat or video call, or I don't know the name of the iPhone ones, but FaceTime and all these things. You we have that technology now. You can be on those for hours, watching and talking and being involved as if you're there. That helps as well, right? And it's good to connect with other persons. So if you're far from home, connect with other persons. That also can help a lot during the Christmas period. Self-care is also important during the holiday period. Yes, taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally. It's important mentally to take care of yourself. And as I was sharing with some folks last night, there's nothing wrong with self care, because when you take care of yourself, you're better able to serve God and others fully. You're better able to serve. And the optimal you is about total wellness. The optimal you is about being well enough to give your best, right? And so you want to ensure that you're taking care of self. And sometimes pushing it to the limit is not taking care of self. Pushing it to the limit at Christmas is not taking care of self. Going overboard with finances is not taking care of self. That's not taking care of self. So you have to set some boundaries and you have to say some no's and you have to say some I can't. Oh, but you always cook the pork. You always cook the pork. Somebody else can cook the pork this year. When you cook it, you can send some my way. But somebody else can cook the pork this year. Somebody else can do it this year. I'm exhausted. It's a very tiring year or the week or the month, whatever the case is. Somebody else can do it. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to say I can't. It's okay to say I am not able to at this time. It's okay. It's okay. So that's the snippets that I give today. I'm apologizing for my guest who should have been here. As I said before, there was a time issue. She didn't or time understanding of the time zone. Yeah, there was a slight misunderstanding. But God's willing and all things being equal, she will be on next week, God's willing, and we will talk some more about mental wellness as it relates to the Christmas period. I was just trying to fill in right there. So she will come next week and shed some more light on other areas that we need to look at during this festive season because it's not an easy time for a lot of persons. Not an easy time at all for a lot of persons. I'm your life coach, Renee, and I'm going to go back to studio. And I want to say thank you so very much for staying with me for these few minutes as we spoke about the whole matter of understanding the stress and the challenges of the Christmas season. I trust that you could have gotten something from what I've said and you will look into the matter of taking care of your mental health in this holiday season. God bless you and see you next week. Or no, tomorrow. What am I saying? See you tomorrow because tomorrow will be financial wellness. And we want to talk about budgeting, setting a budget for the Christmas season. Yes. So come join me tomorrow. What's going on? Tomorrow for that in the YouTube segment. God bless you. Take care. Renee saying, see you next time. Bye bye.